So I figured I would just go through or talk about this as I'm going through it because this is kind of tedious and, might as well describe what I'm working on. Right now I'm in my front-end Apollo Jot library repository. It calls itself client because I use this as the front end for a lot of the other sites that I do. Recently I've been going through a whole bunch of different, let's see if I can pull up the Git history. There we go. So recently I've been going through a few different refactors. Whole bunch actually, starting yesterday. Actually a couple days ago. But really going hard on these yesterday. You can see that I was trying to normalize a whole bunch of the different approaches that I've been taking for some of the code throughout the code base. Right now I am acknowledging that some of these elements are hard to work with. Some of the things that I'm doing are hard for me to navigate as I'm coding, because when I returned to this repository, I had different goals than I used to. How much do I say about that? When I started this repository, I was trying to explore the relationship between JSON Web Tokens and trying to pull those into a full stack application because I was applying to jobs. And as I'm returning to this repository, I'm less interested in proving concepts and more interested in actually maintaining this. So I recently added a requirement that the feature name needs to start with the string sequence feature dot, and then it can be whatever it needs to be. So I changed that in the TypeScript interface, defining the properties for this feature component. And now I need to go through and find all of the instances where it is. Find all of the situations where I'm not using strings or where I'm not using variables. And replace them with variables that have the proper feature name pattern. So eventually I need to make sure that all of these I've included actually have the right syntax. This is pretty tedious, so I'm going to see how long this takes. I don't really want to do this, I'm going to be honest. I don't want to need to do this, I should say. I do want to do this because otherwise the code base is going to be a pain in the butt to work with. So these names aren't necessarily the most accurate names, and while I'm going through this, I want to keep that in mind. I'm not going to name them right now because I haven't put a lot of attention into choosing which names actually mean which things. Here, I'm just going to put these all in one line because it's easier for me to see if that's the case. I'm also going to try to find all of the instances where I have those on multiple lines and replace them, so it's a little bit easier for me to see those when I am trying to go through the code. So if I do a find on this feature component, then I want to be able to see the name of the component that I'm interacting with. So this is pretty tedious. So I create cool. I think that's everything. I guess I should probably go through and make sure. Not quite all of them. Cool. Now I'm going to do another search across the file to see if they all have feature name on them. And it looks like they do. Feature name, feature name, feature name. Cool. So those are pretty uniform. Now I'm going to do a Control F on feature name. Make that a regex. Any number of spaces and an equal sign. negative will look ahead. So these are the ones that don't have feature on them. Okay. Do another search for teacher name. Now I'm going to move all of these to their own file.